Bob, am I being an alarmist here that Chuck Pagano could be in more immediate trouble than we think?
Well, you're talking now to a professional alarmist, but I don't think it's going to happen unless they go out and perform the way they did against L.A. when they lost 46-9 and showed absolutely no fight during that game against the Rams for a couple of reasons. First, Irsay has never fired a coach in midseason. I think there's always a first, obviously, but I think they look at Chuck Pagano as the bridge coach to the next guy. I think they want him to be the guy who takes all the lumps. They knew this was not going to be a good team to start with. Then you take Andrew Luck, Ryan Kelly, Vontae Davis, Clayton Gathers, all these guys out of the equation. They know this is a bad team. So unless they go out there and absolutely quit against the Cleveland Browns at home this Sunday, I think he's going to survive the season, and then they'll go out and get the guy they've been wanting all along, whether that's a Harbaugh, a John Gruden, or somebody else.
What's the latest on Luck to play it all this season?
Well, I just rolled into the Colts facility around 12:15. Chuck Pagano will give us his nuggets of wisdom, as he always does, and I'm guessing that Andrew's not going to practice today, but you know we're out here every day just waiting for the puff of smoke, telling us that Andrew Luck is going to practice. At this point, even if he does practice, let's say as soon as today, I can't see him playing any sooner than week 5. I think they want to get him at least 2 full, uninterrupted, pain-free weeks of practice before they let him go. But here's what I keep telling people in Indianapolis is that just because Luck is back doesn't mean this team is suddenly going to be vying for the AFC South, as ordinary as that division is. You remember, we remember here 2008, Peyton Manning missed almost all the preseason with an infected bursa on his knee and came out and really was not very good for the first 7 games, and they were 3-4 before he finally became Peyton Manning again. So I wouldn't suspect that Andrew is going to have the kind of season that's going to lead the Colts back into contention in that division.
But at what point is this a redshirt season for him that you don't put him out there, because that offensive line, I don't think, is markedly improved after last year that got him in this position in the first place?
Right. Yeah, I've gotten a lot of that on Twitter. I disagree with that idea because, look, if he's healthy, you're paying him a lot of money. And how do you look at all the other guys on the roster, many of whom are playing with different aches and pains and are gutting it out, and you have a multi-million-dollar franchise quarterback sitting there who's perfectly capable of playing, and you're saying, well, let's redshirt the guy. Then you're basically pooch kicking the season. You're telling the rest of your team it doesn't matter, and I think that's a very dangerous spot for them to put themselves in.
Yeah, but Bob, we're in the era of tanking.
Yeah, well, we are, but I don't see that happening for the Colts. I mean, look, Jim Irsay has come out. He's come out and said a lot of things publicly, some of which make sense and some of which don't. But he has said he doesn't have a problem with a bad season or two if it means multiple, not a Lombardi, multiple Lombardis down the stretch. So I think they are willing to take their lumps, but I think that I don't see it proving any point or helping Andrew Luck if they redshirt him this year. If he's good to go, he should play football, and that way, you go into next season knowing you've got a healthy. You hope you have a healthy guy heading into next season.
Bob, the Colts are underdogs at home to the Browns.
I know. Is that unbelievable? I have to look this up. I don't think the Browns have been a road favorite since 2012, or maybe the last time Dante Lavelli lined up at wide receiver. I don't know what it is, but I'm looking at their roster, and I looked at their wide receivers, and I didn't recognize a single name. So they're not good either. This promises to be a truly wretched football game between two really bad teams. But if I was a betting man, and I promise you that I'm not, I would take the Colts and those points because this is a game they absolutely can't lose. And For the guys who were here during the Ryan Grigson era, they don't want to lose to a team that's not only bad, historically bad, but they don't want to lose to Ryan Grigson either, because there's not a lot of warm and fuzzy feelings in that locker room toward Ryan Grigson, who now, I should mention, works for the Cleveland Browns.
Bob, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the festivities this weekend.
Okay, it doesn't get any bigger than this, Dan.
Thank you, Bob.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.